This is where we fight!
The battle is on. Mars versus Venus.
Yes, sir.
I finally need to find back the opening, eh?
Yeah, we'll get it next week for sure. I'll make sure we'll do it this week.
Thank you very much. Very well. Because if I'm going to have to engage in these conversations, I need the disclaimer that is a Jamet from South. Thank you.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Show them all the beauty
They possess inside.
Give them a
Sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Yeah.
I believe
Oh, you're going all in?
long ago.
And
Never
you
to
walk in anyone's shadow?
in anyone's shadow.
If I fail, if I succeed,
or I succeed,
at least what?
At least I did
As-
as I believe.
Don't
no
matter.
What
They take
from me,
they can't take away
my dignity.
because
the
greatest love of all
love of all
is happening
to me. I find it as encouragement, chauvinist,
oh yeah,
on national radio. This
we
is what
are
I find.
talking about the children. The children. How do one operate in a space with children? And let me explain. There was a video circulating around last week. I show road just now with a young lady who was pleading with her man, "Why are you leaving? Why are you doing this to us?" And he said, "You're cheering too bad."
Oh, the children bad. Oh dear.
Try to make it sound so. It's not funny.
Bad behaved children.
Bad behaved children.
Oh,
And
dear.
then too, there was another story that I saw where the man was telling his significant other he's feeling as though she's in competition
With the children.
with the children, with his children.
Well, they're fighting while in this relationship thing, boy.
So we're talking about how
It is not my portion.
no, because it happens. You understand? Is that a deal breaker? Well, we know Abby has said from jump, you are unattractive if you have a child because it comes with a mother.
unattractive. Okay?
So let me ask you this though, Abby.
I just
No, I
said.
use the word unattractive because you're just
Okay.
not putting yourself in this
Yeah,
space,
yeah,
right?
I know.
So let me ask this though. If you meet a guy who does indeed have a child, but the mother is dead, can you then consider having a relationship forging on with the young man? But the mother dead.
Yeah, but it's still like a. Small humans are not necessarily my portion per se.
So it's not about age either. It's just it's just a human being. So if you have someone like with a 15-year-old son, he had a son 15 years ago in labor.
Here's what I'll do.
The woman died.
Wow, she had a dead in labor.
Okay, but
Jeez
that's
Louise.
no. Why I'm saying it,
Yes.
I'm phrasing it that way to let you know that he's been 100% in
Right.
this child's life from the
Right,
beginning,
gotcha.
and it's his child, and he has not been in a relationship. He's been
Right.
focused, but now he saw you. His eyes got it lit up. It has a hazel, a crack of tear in it. Every time he sees you, his heart
Crack tear. A crack of a tear.
When he sees you, his heart palpitates. You are the one.
Here's
You
what
are
I'll
the
say.
one. So he approaches and he's like, "Listen, he's been ordained to just be with you, and that's what he wants for these."
He had to be okay. Here's the thing, right?
I'm trying all how to help him because you don't like nobody. So I'm trying to set the man on the right
Once
track.
there's like, okay, so people come into relationships with, let's use the word baggage for intents and purposes. Like, for argument's sake. People would have had relationships that they would have before they met you and whatnot. But there's something very specific in terms of the kind of responsibility and dedication of time and whatnot when you get into somebody's life when there is a child in the mix. And I respect that. I respect your relationship with your child. And if the child mother, and we really hope, I'm really hoping the child mother not dead, but if the child's mother is still very much alive and kicking, I also need to respect the relationship that you would have with your child's mother as well. I just don't know if I
Could be part of that dynamic.
Yeah, I
which
don't
is
really.
fair.
That's not me.
Which is fair. That's
know?
not your circus. Good.
That's not me.
So we talking today, is it a deal breaker that you're with someone, but you, in your observation, do not, because it happens, and we
Yeah.
don't talk about it a lot, but it happens. You do not approve within yourself and your bringing the way or the manner in which your significant other
They bring up
deals
their
with their child.
Yeah. I allergic to bad behavior, and so there's that.
Right? And do you think...
Assertive, yes, we love that. Super talented, challenging, boundaries, like pushing the boundaries. Like, I understand that. I could deal with this as a godmother and thing. But you see, just bad behave children, and children aren't bad behaved just because they wake up one morning and be bad behaved. Children are badly behaved, and using that term loosely because that is subjective, I guess, for various people. Is because of how you raising them. So if you having issues with how you raising your children, it probably means that our social and cultural politics probably not in alignment anyway. So yeah.
Right. So now you have you in a relationship and you start to compare things. Like, you find your significant other doesn't give you enough time because most of their time is spent with their children. That's one. Two, you find, like in a case of a mother and a son, you find he has more authority over you.
What, the son?
Yeah. You know, some men find like he give son too much attention. Because she's saying, well, no, he have football, so I have to carry him. This going on, I have to take him, and you vex because you ain't getting enough time. So I'm asking now, the question is, do you think it is okay, like how the guy decided, listen, I can't be in a relationship anymore because the children, that's too bad. They're disrespectful, they don't listen, and I don't want it.
Yeah, and you don't have the authority to correct nobody, child.
Yeah, so I'm out.
He within his right. He's very much within his right.
So we're talking kids in a relationship today. How because it's in the space. We see it all the time. And let me also talk about the positive sides of it as well. I have heard so many stories about men and women speaking on men or women who would have come entered their lives and take up the mantle and did it
And
quite
ran
well.
with it, yes.
Yeah. I have heard so many stories about
hear that.
people standing up and saying, listen, my stepfather has been amazing. It's been the best thing to happen to me. We've heard those stories as well. And I've also read articles and things with people saying, like, I saw there was a trend recently which I was kind of disappointed in, where a woman was saying a man is weak if he minds somebody else's child.
People just be out here saying anything on the social
they
media.
just open them out and talk any kind of garbage, which
Well,
I
let
do
us
not
hush
agree
now.
with. Which I don't
Well,
agree
let
with. Why is a
hush.
man weak? Because they say from the time you're taking care of somebody else's child, you're a weak man. And them sort of
People just be
nonsense.
saying anything.
I don't agree with that, because I think if you're in a relationship with someone and you truly have, because I realize a lot of people with people but don't really like them. You know?
Oh yes, that's a phenomenon.
And I
They
don't-
like the idea of somebody, but they don't actually like the person.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have been realizing a lot of people don't like who they're with. You're with them, you know.
Like, they love them, but they don't really
Yeah,
like
you
them.
love them, but you don't like them. And you can sense you don't like them because of how they just deal with things around them.
And that is a very hurtful space to be in when you're in a relationship like that, huh? Because you must know your partner don't like you. Like, they
sometimes
love
you
you.
don't know. Sometimes you don't, but they just don't like you.
Yeah, they don't like you.
No, listen to what I'm
Yeah.
saying, guys. And it might sound a little
It's
far-fetched,
sad.
but there are a lot of people in relationships who don't like each other. They just naturally don't like each other.
And it's one of those things where I'm not saying that you will like the person every single day, every moment of the day. But it's one of those things where when it moves beyond the point of repair, like you all have one disagreement and you never deal with it, and it festers and it festers, and then more things happen and more things happen, and then it just gets to the point where, what, I can't take here.
So in a case
Yeah.
like that, if you don't like someone, it's going to be quite difficult to like their child because you don't like them.
Yeah.
But you're in the space, you are in the relationship, you're committed to the relationship, or the idea of the relationship you're committed to, and you tick all the boxes where the relationship is concerned. You know that you're responsible for waking up in the morning, for being supportive, and you're doing all those things, but you just don't like the person. But you expect this person to be comfortable with you
Or
and your
better
child.
fact, the child don't like you. because the child carrying fire rage for the other parent, or you come into a space and the child sees another adult in the space. Me know you from Adam. You with my father, you with my mother. Why I had to listen to you? Children challenge. And that's...
Let's welcome them in.
Good morning, breakfast party. Jaiga, Rudy, and Miss Jackson Raw. Nikki, wherever you stand. Yes, Jaiga, that's a deal breaker, especially if that child rude. And from first-hand experience, I've been through that. Yes, that's a deal breaker. Yeah, that relationship won't last, and especially if that child rude. Because the first thing they like to say when you tell them anything about the child is you don't like the child. And that is not the case. Right? Not like you're blaming the child all the way for the issues in a relationship, but it won't last, Jack. That's definitely a deal breaker.
See, and these are the conversations I don't want to have. Like, I don't want to have conversations like these. Like, like on a daily basis, which is why I will go in the next direction. Like, I don't want to have these conversations. Like, I don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation with you about your child. Like, navigating our interpersonal relationship is hard enough without, for me, there might be somebody listening to me who might find I'm less than a woman because I don't want to have them conversations. Too bad. Whatever. But I don't want to have those conversations because those are some difficult conversations to have. Yeah.
Stop the audio. Sing the old time one now. Sing the old time dignity now.
Wow. Wow.
Good morning to the panel. Special good morning, Mr. Bayo Sweets.
Hey, honey.
Yes, that is a deal breaker. Especially if we get to the point of where we are around each other's children, which is something that is staged. And my child are rude to you, I'm not giving you that. And my child has told me one time she don't want to play with anybody who have anybody bad behaved children. So yeah, you and the child got to go.
Wow.
P.S. Congratulations to your small
Oh yes,
person.
congratulations to Kimani on making honor roll again for the 900th time.
Yeah.
So
it's
congratulations.
It's an ordinary day for her, really. But still, we congratulate you, sweet pea. Well done.
Linda, are you laughing or are you
You see the
contributing?
apple of his eyes.
I love Linda.
A tear crack.
A tear crack.
A tear crack.
I find in today's society, the role of a stepfather and a stepmother is not praised enough, especially the stepfather, because most of the time, stepfather also is the provider. Stepmothers come in the mix, but they generally would not do the providing part. But stepfathers, they come into situations and they know how to provide for these children. In many cases, the biological father is not around or isn't providing, and they have to take up the mantle, and they have to basically, father children that they didn't bring into the world and be responsible for them. I think that society in general don't praise these men enough, don't give them the respect that they deserve, and I think that is why many men may go along the lines that they may say, well, people who do that, the chumps, is this, that, is a general negative perception of these men, because generally those who do it are not given the respect and the praise that that is deserved.
All right, let me just say this, right? I hear you. I want to start by saying I hear you, but I want us to also be careful when we're using words. Words are very powerful, and it transcends, and the person receiving what you're saying sometimes could take it off. Like, in that moment, you said something, provide. And I know you're speaking in the context, when you speak about provide, you're speaking from a monetary state. That the man is going to come into the space and provide maybe a safe home, provide food and shelter and these kind of things. But a stepmother coming to a place also provides something that we can pay for, which is nurturing for that child that does not have a mother. Provide the love and comfort and a voice and a shoulder for that child to communicate. Like, let's say you are a single father with a daughter, and you have a woman who truly loves you and come into your space and is willing to provide your daughter with that necessary love and affection that she's going to need that you might not be able to give as a father. So let's not say the woman coming in and can't provide nothing. Women do provide a lot of things that might not be tangible in our eyes, so we tend to get on us do that they don't give nothing, but they do provide. And coming from a guy who was only around women I know exactly what they provide. Like yesterday, for instance, my sister provided a beautiful fish broth.
Fish broth. Yeah,
That was
so
amazing.
I'm so glad you took that one because, you know.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in your eyes. I saw the crackle. I saw the crackle under your lashes.
You see
I
why?
saw the crackle. I said, let me just interject
See why
because
I
it
see
will
that
end up
myself?
violent. If I allowed her to open her mouth,
yeah,
it would have been violent.
yeah.
Abby, I'm with you this morning. That is a deal breaker. But it have people who are very, very good at step parenting. God bless their heart. They have a special place in heaven for you.
Oh, wow. You say it with your chest.
Yeah.
But also, if you take the time to get to know somebody and you listen to how they speak about their children and how they interact with their children, you can tell how they parent with their children before you even have them interact with your child. So that says a lot. And that there could tell you if it's going to work when it comes to co-parenting, or, you know, if you go the long distance road and now you're all shack up or married or whatever, how
Shack up.
your parenting
that.
styles are going
Shack
to
up.
intermesh.
Like in a case like Cleveland struggled, as we all know. Cleveland struggled.
Listen, Nicola is the child whisperer.
And outside of
She is
striking
the child
goal,
whisperer.
she also received a gem as well. Because she get the stepchild of the decade.
Yeah. She sure did.
She get
Like
it.
he's done. Like, you know,
Yeah,
he's
she
done.
get the
He's a
whole
finished
package. She get the whole package.
She's
the
done.
whole
She's
package.
done.
She good to go. Good to go.
Yeah.
But Amanda just said the stepfather praise. I don't agree with that. My father was in the military, and his days off, he wanted to be in a rum shop. My stepmother provided everything for me.
You see? You see what I'm saying? The word is the word, you know?
I'm so glad you all are handling it because
It is the word. Again, I'm not saying, bro, I'm not saying the things you say didn't mean anything. I'm not diminishing what you said either. All I'm saying is that we have to be careful with certain. And
we have to be mindful of speaking from a place of pain.
Yeah, and listen, we ain't perfect. There are times that everybody's dropped the ball, and where you have to be in a position where when you see the ball fall and you run on the sideline to get it, you can bring it back and say, yeah, what I made a mistake. So that's all I'm saying. The words that we use is very important. And I've been learning that the harsh way over the past couple of years. The pandemic opened up them because in pandemic you had to use your words. You ain't seen nobody. You had to talk.
Use
You
your
know, most
words.
people use off words in the
Use your words. Yeah, the pandemic, the ponderosa
The
was hard.
ponderosa was hard, boy. It
was hard.
forced men to use the words and men ain't no words. When you don't know words, it's our next problem because you have to now use your words, but I don't know what words to use.
Listen,
They end up in the bush.
this is why if you know you're not a prolific word user, especially when it comes to your emotions and your needs and your wants, yeah, sometimes it is best to bat in your crease. Like, I am very aware of my crease where this is concerned. Is either we childless together or we making child together. Yeah.
Say that again?
It's either we childless together or we making child together.
Okay, cool. and that's fair.
Yeah.
That's again, you to everyone, as the old saying goes, to every man the other. But what I respect, like I tell people all the time, you gotta know your beast. And I love consistency, be it good, bad, and different. You see, if you're dealing with somebody and you know what they give,
Yes.
it makes life easier.
This is true.
So then people on the outside looking and say, how you can deal with them? I can deal with them because I know
You
what
know
I'm
who
getting.
they are. You know who they are.
You see, when you start to mix match,
No.
mix match is a problem. When today you're this way and tomorrow you're the next way and then the other day you're this way, I can't take that.
Yeah.
Good morning, Audrey World. Me personally, I can't be with a man with rude kids. I allergic to rude children.
Oh, wow.
Time once, twice, I noticed.
Your skin is scratch.
I out. And I can't be with
What
a
has
man
happened to
who
her? What
don't
I
care
said
for his
earlier.
kids either. I was dating this guy one time, and every time I ask about his kids, he always making excuse. And I can't deal with that. You have to be involved in your kids' lives. And if you're not involved with them, if you could treat your kids so, what you gonna do to me?
She's quite
So
right.
now,
Facts.
road children,
She's
no.
quite right.
And fathers who not present in their kids' lives,
Also no.
no too.
Also no.
As I always say, I always remember Karima when I give this story. When young women, I always tell young women who have in close proximity with, when you meet how he name
And he have a small
and how he
human.
name of a small human, go any place. You
And
have
you need to see
mark out.
evidence of small human.
The trick in this trade is
Textbook,
you have
storybook,
to go in his
toys.
place.
The child need to have a room or at the very least 2-3 drawers with things.
It's like me, right? When I used to make the joke, people feel it's kicks. When you go by a young lady and the pillowcase and them don't match, you know she's a bacchanalist.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Nigel say what?
Nigel, let me bring you. Daily show.
Daily Show was like,
Daily
what?
show. When you go by her name, and she has a comforter set, my friend, right?
Nigel has zoned out already. His eyes
And
is giving.
one
What are you saying?
pillowcase is different from
His
the other.
eyes are saying.
And
She
the
is
curtain
putting
and
what
thing
she
don't match.
have on her bed. What you want you to do?
She
Thief?
is a customer.
Do you want her to
She's
thief?
going to cuss you like a dog.
Do you want her to thief?
No, I don't.
She
Bro,
put in what she
I am
have.
telling you, don't listen to Abby on this one, eh? She's good. Because she think matching, eh? She don't let Abby chain you up, you know. Is your thing matching or
That
not?
is not the point.
I'm asking a simple question.
That
Is
my
your things matching or
My
not?
thing is matching because, bless God, I have the little privilege to be able to go to
Bless
excellent.
God, no.
Bless hot God.
The Arupa God.
That's right. All
Listen
of
to
them.
her.
All of them. Thank you.
Things is matching, Rattan?
Okay.
It's a 100 count that is match.
Some people
It ought to be
don't
3,000
even have
count.
purpose to go to Rattans. What they have is they get 2 things from their mother and 2 things from their aunt.
Mothers is getting
and
matching.
2 things.
When I
Not all
first
the
went
time.
out, Gemma
Not
make
all the
sure.
time.
When Gemma gave me my first bed set, I get pillowcase, I get comforter, I get flat
Because
sheets,
you
I get
come
fitted sheets,
from a particular.
and I get rocked up on the side of the bed
You
to
come
match.
from a particular kind of breeding.
You
Okay,
understand?
but if your grandmother give you the sheets and your mother give you the fitted sheet
Don't ever
and your
granny-
uncle give you
know
the
they don't do
pillowcase,
that, Abby. Don't do me that now. Them granny and them not doing me that.
listen to me.
Reasons for having different types.
Thank you.
Sometimes they might get a little silk wrap thing for your hair on one pillow. Your feet is like a covering.
Hi,
Different
see?
covering for-
What is that
See?
Rasta thing? Or? I don't know. Is this a Rastafari thing? I just want to be. This is a disclaimer here. Is this because I'm realizing there's 2 Rastas out
Yeah,
there.
this is not a conversation for the follically
For the-
challenged.
Oh, okay.
The follically challenged
Because
is
there's
not
no
for you.
gel in my hair. I don't know about no
you-
follicles
you
wrapping
don't have
wrapping
this problem.
pillowcase.
We understand, okay? We understand.
Hey guys, Paula here again. I wouldn't do it again. I was with someone for 15 years and they had kids. And the boys didn't turn out right, but the girls, when I met them, they hadn't traveled to Trinidad. By the time I left him, they had traveled to Trinidad countless times. Both girls are now adults because I was over 13 years. I met them when they were 8 or 9. And one is in the army, like in her second term, and the other one is a manager at a big company. I'm glad they saw me being an independent woman, moving forward, getting my master's and all of that, because I'm sure it rubbed off on them, and I'm glad I got to take them to other places in the world. So I say it's a hit or miss, but I prefer to date guys without kids. I don't have any, and I normally stick to guys without kids. I wouldn't really date a guy with kids.
Okay.
Morning, guys. Morning. Most times the role of step parents are underplayed, right? Very
Really
rare
the
to see
feelings
about
today,
it.
boys.
You know, and the thing is that I just always say you see bad situations between the biological parents and the step parents is because the person that you're with encouraging nonsense. Because you could never tell me. You could never tell me that.
Catch it back though.
Not even a water. Your daughter father sending for her. Not a water. And from the minute you say anything in a negative light on that man, you're the worst person in the world. Man, that's craziness. But big up to all the guys who handle kids that is not their own. And big up to all the guys that handling the business and handling the train that is their own.
All right, let me say this.
I hear you, sir.
Let me say this. I get where you're coming from, and I'm hearing it in the voice too,
There's
right?
pain, there's pain.
Is a case of sometimes, not all times, sometimes, and for what he's speaking of, the woman is not, as my granny used to tell me, man do in relationship, a man do ever done, women in relationships, right? Women are normally the ones to say, yo, no, I done.
You mean, well, I guess if you're talking about, I suppose, outside of an abusive situation.
Yeah, you know, I'm talking about like it lingers. Like if you like when a woman encourages a man to stay around, when you see a man only butterflying, it's because the window remains open, so he butterflies. and comes back and comes back and comes back. When a woman say, boy, nothing, and they go, you running like a dog, you get run like a dog. You have to leave. So what he's explaining is he can't make mention to the shortcomings of said man because she somewhere inside of her still carrying a torch for the individual. That's why those things happen. Because if you really look at it from face value, if you made a child for someone and the person has no kind of connection, emotional, financial, nothing of the sort, but you still cannot speak on it, you know why? Because you hear people complain all the time, you don't do nothing for me and the child, but you can't say nothing bad about him. That's because that person is not truly over that particular situation for whatever reason. And you know, put yourself in that situation because you know human beings have a safe complex. Most black people, for instance, love to save. You know, we feel we is Superman and Superwoman. Woman love to save man, and man loves to save woman. Take it on me years, go by SBCS and they just pay for fees. They pay for fees in SBCS and they just get the work and then they just leave you.
Wow. That sounds very specific, eh? That sounds very specific.
I'm sure we'll pay for real course.
How I don't find man? Hey, hello.
You know what course we pay for, Abby? You see that place in St. Augustine, SBCS, real man went there and pay money.
The building has looked so.
The building has twist up. You know what men went to that administration office and them days it's 35-25.
35, wow.
Most courses started 3525.
The figure is ingrained in your head.
Ingrained in my head. I paid that 3525
you know
countless.
Good boy.
Because somebody always wanted to do a course.
Wow.
And when you hear things back in the days, when I get tell you, well, I want to do a little course. You want to encourage the course because it's upliftment.
What course you do?
Stupid course. I do the course of stupidity. Yeah.
Where is your course?
You can tell me where my course. My course was paying that course. Damn it.
All the stepfathers
that
play that predominant role and raise the family proper.
Bro, don't get on. Sometimes in life, we need to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
And that's how we heal.
I'm sure whoever that homegirl is listening right now and she's going, you know what?
Thank you.
Maybe I'll reach out and say thanks.
No, you ain't getting that thanks. You ain't getting that thanks. You know you get I don't think we're going in the same direction anymore.
Wow.
I want more for me. I want more out of life. You want more out of life because I give physical hour. You want more out of life with my little bread? You know how hard it is. I mean, let me just
because you should have been doing a course too.
Let me take you back. You know how hard it is to raise 35.
The whole Ponderosa happened. You're gonna have a whole master's.
Mom, you talking any this nothing now?
I know I'm being facetious.
You know how hard it is to raise $3,525 when you're trimming? And a haircut is $20.
Yeah, boy, that's
Let me just break it down to you.
I really had it.
You telling me?
That's real head, boy.
You know how much Wilkinson razor blade it takes to bend over her ears to give a man a mark to raise $3,525. Do you have any understanding? That's a hundred.
Wow! Well, you're all calculated.
That is 176 head.
This
to
is bringing,
give you to pay for your course.
This is bringing new meaning to the word head, huh?
You understand what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
So standing and let's average, do the maths of this room. Average 25 minutes ahead. So 25 minutes by 176.
Imagine if the head have dandruff.
Oh God, you go in. 25 raw by 176. That's how much minutes of standing. 4,400 minutes of my life.
Also, I could do my course.
My life.
You really love me, boy.
All to send you on. That's what? 73 hours of my life.
So I could do a course.
To pay the twist bill for you to do a course, to then come back to say, I don't think we're on the same path in my life. And I go like, okay. Hey!
Oh,
yeah.
and she prepare for it, you know. She's prepared. Usually when we give that speech, we have practiced it. We have spoken to our home girls. We took it for a test run.
This lady saying she dated men. She says she wants a manager because she need people to play with her children. So
oh wow.
She looking for manager.
That's right. It's $3,500 to learn administration, and up to now she can't administer. She damn attitude and thing, you know, boy. Not even my thank you, boy. My ex boy, John O'Star.
Wow.
There's a lot of pain this morning.
Wow.
Morning, guys. Morning. You know, currently right now, I have a stepson. I'm involved in a relationship, and the young lady has a son, a 7-year-old boy.
Good
I
age.
myself, I have 2 kids,
Good
21
age.
and 14. And I was worried how they were gonna mix. But right, they have such a nice relationship right now. It's amazing. And even my stepson has been calling me, you know, like, "That's my father," and he can't wait for us to get married so he could change his name. And something I observed and I was so shocked about is that if he do something wrong and she find I taking too long to correct him and thing, she'll be like, "What happened? You know, like, you're not doing your job, daddy."
Oh, wow.
So it all depends on how you and the parent interact and communicate. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Show love and you get back love. That's all.
I hear that. Oh, good. Yeah.
2 quick things. Where can I find a Mr.? Because I'm hearing Ro and Jaiga
That's what I'm saying.
endorsing these men that pay for courses and vehicles and cars
Vacations.
and vacations. So where can I find one? 2 is fine if you give me options. I have no problem with that. But minimum of 1 is fine. So where just point me and direct my ways accordingly, okay? And 2, don't mark my womb. Please come with your well-mannered children who you are playing not only a financial role, but a spiritual and emotional role in their lives.
I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Joe, one love for the Virgin ass morning, man. I reached late, but I figured it out. Hey, in all honesty, I have almost resigned myself that I probably gonna be somebody's stepfather at this point because dating in this pool today, you're going to run into somebody with at least 1 child. You'll find some without, you know, but for the majority of them,
He said, but I
they
know I
have
got
at least one
myself.
child.
I don't know
You know,
it.
I myself have a couple of friends who are single mothers, and they always tell me, "Don't have kids, don't have kids," you know. But then I see them raising their children on their own, and whenever they're in relationships, they don't let the men too close because obviously I know they want to be happy and they want something long lasting, but they really have to wait before they introduce a man to their child. You know, and you know I've yet to see any of them get that far in a relationship like that. You know, so me, I try my best to hold out. I would hope to meet a woman without kids one day, but at this point I have to accept the fact that that can't be a deal breaker anymore just because of the world we're living in.
I hear you, sweetie.
Ooh, this one is long, bro. Let's see if I can just cut it out.
Okay, so good morning, Jaiga, Abby. I hear what the guy was saying before concerning the providing part, but if we look at it equally on both sides, or at least we attempt to, the guy would come into this situation and he would be expected to provide a home, financial support, etc., etc.
Yes.
And he too will also be expected to be a fatherly figure to a young man if the woman has a son.
Yes.
That fatherly figure, that idea of what it is to be a man is irreplaceable, right? Mothers have done a fairly good job over the years because I have family members who were raised by their mom only, and they turn out to be decent human beings. But the man too also provides a social example for a young man and even a young woman, right? So it goes both ways. And I understand what you're saying. The woman does provide, and in this day and age, the woman also provides financial support, but really and truly, they're not really expected to. The expectation more falls on that nurturing side. So it goes both ways. You know, it goes both ways, but the man is expected to provide. And the man also has a role to provide that social example to a young person.
I hear you.
I hear that. What I will say, it is actually quite refreshing, although, I may not necessarily agree with every single thing y'all are saying. But it's refreshing to hear you realize that there are more men contributing to this topic this morning than women. There seems to be more men contributing. So I'm glad that you all feel safe enough to share your experiences. I mean, some of what you all are saying clearly is coming up from a place of trauma and pain, but I'm glad that you all are willing to share, and that that you all out here navigating difficult spaces, navigating this whole thing about how do you love and like and share space and time and create something new with someone that has such a huge responsibility and a huge individual in their life that takes up a lot of space. And for some, particularly with women, there isn't going to be somebody in their life that is going to be of more importance than their child. It goes back to what the guy was saying in terms of single mothers take a very long time to introduce a new partner to their child. The centrality that a child takes. I mean, for some men, for men, I'm sure there are men out there for whom it is the same thing, but I'm talking about women that I've seen in terms of how they raise their children. I am the product of a single parent home in terms of I was raised primarily by my mother, but I was raised primarily by women. So it was my mother, my grandmother, my great aunts, my mother's very, very close women friends, primarily by women. There were men in the picture, uncles, very good friends of my mother as well.
Uncles.
In close.
Let's not forget uncles.
Okay, Mr. Homegirl. Okay, Mr.
We love
Homegirl.
your uncles.
Yeah.
Your
We love your homegirls.
And your uncles are amazing.
We know they are, right? Who, like you said, provided good social examples of what manhood is supposed to be and all that wonderful stuff. But it like what you were talking about in terms of feeling as though you've met somebody and you're feeling as though you're in competition with the child. You cannot enter somebody's life. You now wash your foot and jump in. You cannot expect to come into somebody's life and usurp the positionality that someone's child has in their life.
And what I
can't.
always say, from the time you enter a space where you want somebody to choose
me
over
Pick
their child,
choose me.
I think you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
In most cases, you're gonna lose.
It's giving
to that
juvenile.
child.
It's
All right, you're gonna lose
Yeah.
if you cannot foster a healthy relationship with a human being where you have the conversation. If there is something about the relationship between the person you're seeing and their child that makes you uncomfortable, you have the conversation and explain to them why are you uncomfortable. Like maybe because in all fairness, right? Let's just change it up a bit. You're going out with a woman whose son is a full-on criminal.
Well, that's different.
No. We don't say different because we see that's part of the
and
conversation.
you know he's a criminal.
It's a full-on criminal.
And you are very much uncomfortable.
And you are seeing her encouraging criminality. Like you go home by her, and when you reach her,
she have a new TV. She know how it
when
reach.
you go in the she said, we're going to the fridge, I leave something in the fridge, and you go, she make her punch. And you go in the fridge, when you go in the punch and you look at the side, you see that 9 on the table. You understand?
Well, you like it so.
And
you clearly like
you're
it.
seeing a 2 ounce of marijuana that's laying down.
You like it.
And you come back from the kitchen and you say nothing.
Mm-hmm. You cool.
But then when you home by her at night and the raid and you get lock up your vex.
How sway? How?
In cases like that, the same way, it doesn't have to get to that extreme to have a conversation. Nope. You could see someone doing something that might not be comfortable in the space and how you were raised and you just make mention. And in that moment, as Abby's always say, you have the right to say, like, this can't work for me. Just as how Abby knows from jump, listen, I can't do the child thing, so I stay away from it. You have to know what you can and cannot do.
Facts.
And don't put yourself in a situation to be in a place where it's something that you're uncomfortable with.
And don't go into a relationship expecting the woman to be a mother. Or go into a relationship and expect the man to be a father. It have plenty of people who go into relationships looking for mother figures and father figures, Plenty of people on both sides of
and do not go into a relationship expecting SBCS to be paid for.
Heteronormative
Stop doing
gender
it.
divide.
Stop doing it. Hey, you hear what I'm telling you? Stop expecting it to be.
Wow. I just want to know what I didn't do in life. How did I miss this boat?
It was an East thing. I realized. We come to the conclusion,
Because
Abby.
we was in all the area.
We grew up in the East, and something about the water was put through the East. You see the pipes in San Juan, Tunapuna, St. Augustine, they were infested with stupid water, with a stupid pill. For men to just give women fees money.
But have real women out there who we also know who just give man money too.
True. But we didn't see them because them from tongue. We met the ones who listen, it's sounding funny, but have you seen what I'm telling you? Rody leave good Diamondville, we born and grown.
True.
Going to Napuna to buy vinyl, to buy TV, to do all kind of things. So as soon as you reach East and you start to ask for water, and they start to get water in glass, everything is gone because they get water in cup. Like they always say don't drink water from plastic cup when you first go by somebody.
But I go in you know, how come I not getting things? But then again, you originally
Time change. We Trinidad has then seen the sanitation plants in the east that it's changed. The water changed.
The water is purified now.
The water purified now. We're not doing that. I am talking about early 90s water. How all are we ship it? Listen, when SBCS had no bill, it was a rank to go. People wasn't going to learn. People was just going to Makodi Berlin. I'm telling you, Abby, when that place had bill in St. Augustine on the main road.
Good morning to all the people who work at SBCS, who graduated from SBCS. Something about SBCS building never sit right with me.
Right, but that was the first
Some for that building, I was like, I'm not going to learn nothing in there.
We didn't care. Abby, as youth men, right? I talking about I in my late teens, you know. You 19, Ro. You remember them days? There's two places we used to go. You used to go there and buy Zenith. You remember Zenith, Ro?
Ooh, do you know? Wait. You know what was the equivalent of SBCS like in South Costats?
Yeah, but Costat fresh.
Costat was like the thing in South.
Yeah,
I feel so.
That new.
Nah, Costat around long time.
Yeah, but Abby, trust me, I never pay Costat, so I wouldn't know. But you see SBCS, I know what I mean. Yeah, you see that Mendes Drive, you make a left in Mendes, then I immediately left.
Mendes Drive.
You make a left by Mendes.
Like when they coming through the back by Trin City there, when they coming through the back.
No, that's the newer one. That's Shan Fly talking about opposite the hospital. You have to make an immediate left, then a next left. You have to. That's just the order thing.
I know the one in Trin City.
And then when they buy the land opposite, that bad land opposite and cut it to make car park, before it paved, it used to be a dirt road with a fence.
They have one in South too on the San Fernando bypass.
Them new.
Well, it was the first. You already guinea pigs.
We were there guinea pigs. They're taking your bread.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, good. Eh?
Yeah, everybody was doing accounting. Everybody was doing accounting.
Everybody did accounting 101.
Me never like accounts, so. ACC, yes, that. Everybody's Everybody was doing accounting exams.
Abby them days, Raw playing music in New Year and they're paying Raw 300.
Wow.
Raw getting 300 to turn record in New Year. And them time he had to buy record and thing, but he could find money to send out.
To do accounting 101.
And you're proud to stand up and you say, so where you going to do? Nah, my girl going to SBC, she doing accounting. You're proud.
Real people do accounting